There's a new season of Winx Club coming out, and I need to catch up. I haven't made a video on Winx Club for years. Here's a super fast review and recap of all the seasons of Winx Club. And I didn't check which dub I used, so I may be a heathen and I may not be using the RAI English. Go ahead and burn me at the stake after you like and subscribe. Bloom acts like she should be on r/main character, going to the park just to eat an apple under a tree. I don't know how good the forests are where she lives, but I doubt it would prevent everyone from hearing a magical spell battle. I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Come get me! Wait, did I just say that?
Oops, did I just say that out loud? He's right behind me, isn't he? I like how Bloom straight up tells her parents that Stella is a fairy. I never understood why they always hide it from their parents. My parents would never believe me. No, really, it would be, I am a child and don't know what to do. This actually gets the parents out of the way. Just show them that fairies are real, stay quiet, keep it secret. Now we don't need to deal with all the annoying parent tropes. They don't beat around the bush. The girlies want magical fairy school. Get them to magical fairy school. Oh my goodness, boys, but like not in the creepy way that makes me want to walk on the other side of the street. You know, I think the existence of the magical school genre is proof that learning is fun and that public school is just really bad at doing their job. Bloom lies and pretends to be someone else in order to get into the school immediately while also meeting the supporting cast. A plan that would only work in a cartoon. On the first day of school, what do? Go around the room and introduce themselves? Psh, no, they play hooky and go hang out.
Everyone here knows magic, and unlike us, they get to use it for anything they want. Ah!
They can use it for anything they want, including almost hitting people with their car. The bad bitches are also witches hunting down a special ring.
And we're seniors. Nobody messes with senior witches. But if you tell us...
I see we're upholding the tradition of seniors preying on freshmen.
It's okay, Stella. My name's Bloom and I come from Earth.
From Earth as in planet Earth?
Her lie lasted all of one episode.
We just had a great idea. Princess Musa should perform a hip-hop number for our guests.
You think you can perform a hip-hop number at a ball? We need classical music. Taylor Swift Bridgerton covers.
You pathetic Earth girl. How'd you even get into this school? You don't have any winks at all.
Yes, she does. She's just a late bloomer.
Boo! You stink! My foot's asleep and I got an itch I can't scratch.
Ugh, he's rank.
There's no ventilation in here.
If he doesn't do something about his OBO,
I think I can see why he stinks. Look at those eyes.
Something tells me these plants don't just survive on water alone.
And what?
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Well, don't be a stranger. Get over here and pass out hugs.
Yeah, bro, where my hug at? They kidnap Stella because for some reason she never brings her magic ring with her anywhere. So Bloom gives the budget hex girls the ring. The ring is also her scepter and is made from starlight, and that starlight was also used to make a great dragon, giving us clues as to why the witches want it.
The great dragon is supposed to have created the entire magical dimension. We can cast a hypnosis spell on the witches while they're sleeping, and then we can make them give us the ring.
You're going to roofie them. You just described a magical Mickey. They literally just sneak into their room the next episode and steal it back. No protective spell, nothing. Why does no one just wear this ring? Do they not know that you can just keep it on? They get themselves into trouble, and then Bloom starts hearing a mysterious voice in her head telling her to trust the voice. If this wasn't a magical world, I would assume she was crazy. And listening to the voice reveals a portal for them to leave. The principal suspends their magical powers for sneaking out at night. Literally one episode later, they get their powers back. Jeez, guys, can you actually commit to any amount of risk? Creepy voice keeps being creepy. Destiny, chosen one, main character syndrome. Season 1 really focuses on interpersonal drama between the three primary groups, that being the Winx, witches, and the dude bro frat dude heroes. There's more of a focus on the high school drama with the flavor of magic rather than the reverse. If anything, it's the witches that are hyper-focused on progressing their magic without them. The plot wouldn't even move forward without the witches. The witches are probably the most titular part of this entire plot. While the Winx Club is focused on living their lives, the witches are pushing them to discover their powers and their true capabilities.
I think Darcy'd like to make him her pet project. Emphasis on the pet.
Dang. I didn't know you were kinky like that. Do the guys just have a private jet? They got that super rich money. I wonder how much tuition is at their school. I would argue that season 1 is less of a magical school genre and more like an urban fantasy with established magical world building. There's too much of a blend of technology to keep it feeling hip and modern for it to properly feel completely magical. Surprisingly, it works really well. I'm not knocking it, but it's very painfully clear that the magical school aspect is running second fiddle to everything else going on. I sometimes forget they even go to a school. The school setting is really just a convenient way to get the main cast to meet each other and to establish the fun school rivalry. Edgy boy who just can't be changed is brainwashed and working for the witches now.
This is strange. I'm going to analyze the air composition. Everyone, stop breathing!
Stop breathing. Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just suffocate. Bloom starts unlocking more weird powers, and while a fire was destroying her mother's flower shop, she got a vision of the past. Apparently, her father found her in a fire and protected by a force field and then adopted Bloom, which explains why Bloom has magic powers and they don't. I think the most impressive part of the show is how they managed to juggle so many characters and have it work for the story. The cast is pretty large, and there's definitely characters that are flat and not very fleshed out, but the primary players of the story and the secondary characters feel like there's enough that it flows together naturally. It feels like a proper soap opera for kids, which I think is why it's so appealing. Every character has their own something that they want, whether it's big or small, and that makes them all feel like they're not forgotten. They don't fade into the background. Everyone has a certain stake into what's going on. The principal catches wind of Bloom's visions, and so she astral projects them to Daphne's resting place, the person who's been giving Bloom visions. And Daphne talks about how there's a tiara that belongs to Bloom and that the dragon fire is still burning inside of her, and that's why she's randomly so powerful. After getting caught by Althea's principal, the headmaster gets so upset with the witches that she actually expels them, not because she doesn't agree with what they're doing, she just gets upset that they keep getting caught.
Brandon! You worthless fan! His name isn't Brandon. This is Sky, Prince of Erecleon, and my beloved fiancé.
Of course, they just had to make him a prince. We can't have main character falling in love with some normie. Bloom feels so upset with the principal getting angry at her and her boy toy being betrothed to Prissy Princess that she just decides to go home.
My turn now.
Electric booty kick!
Dang. I wish someone would use that spell on me. The witches explain that their witch coven tracked the dragon fire and turned the planet to ice. And Daphne, the guardian, put the dragon fire into Bloom, and that she's also the heir to the throne, meaning she's a princess. Gasp, I know, shocking. Who would have thought? And then they overpower her and steal the dragon fire from within her. They use the dragon fire to summon an army of decay, which they never talked about until right now, but you know, there's a scary army hell-bent on destroying the world, so big, evil, scary threat.
You ready to take over the universe for Mama? Are you, pumpkins?
Yes, mommy. The plan is for Bloom to go to the Kingdom of Sparks, the origin of the dragon flame, and that'll basically recharge Bloom's powers. She needs to throw herself into the volcano. Inside the castle, Daphne guides Bloom to the super special tiara, and it shows her what happened all those years ago. Straight up, Bloom was Naruto'd. People just keep throwing ancient magic powers into babies. Who keeps thinking that this is a good idea? Sky tells Bloom that he called off his arranged marriage. Can you do that? I thought an arranged marriage wasn't their choice. That's like the whole point. A lot of stuff happens that isn't really important. There was this one witch that was transformed into a pumpkin that they finally reversed, so that's a thing. Maybe she'll be important later. Plot twist, she's not.
They don't teach us how to do this in heroics class, but I gotta say I really like you, and now I gotta go. Bye.
I can't tell if that's really cringy or really sweet. Oh yeah, Riven got better, by the way. Bloom gets an awkward pep talk from Daphne, basically telling to just believe in herself. And Bloom goes, you know what, yeah, you got a point. And she gets her magic back. They really stumbled through this part. Icy learns that fire melts ice. I kid you not, that's it. That's how she beats Icy. They don't show anything else. This is it. She just sweeps down with Icy's body, and that's the grand finale. A big bright light, and it's insinuated that she beat up Icy. That's season 1. Really good season, except for that ending, if I'm gonna be frank. Okay, moving on. They're sophomores now, officially 1 year older. They call these weird flying seahorses with bedroom eyes a fortune fly that will tell you your fortune if you catch them. Pixies aren't just a slur for fairies, but also an actual magical creature. Oh, that's terrible. I wonder how Pixies feel. That's like when gay was an insult. I hope you like Tomb Raider because we got a new character and she's trying to save all these pixies. I guess this is when anime started going mainstream and chibi characters were popular, so they forcibly injected them into the show. Here's your brand new villain, the Phoenix Darkar. Really? That's his name? With a waistline that supermodels would die for. Literally in this case. This new fairy is Layla. Or is she Aisha? And she only managed to rescue one pixie from the clutches of the Phoenix Darkar. Also, there's a monk-like reformation colony that's all hippy-dippy, except this one guy wants to leave, which you'd think they would be going somewhere with that, but they don't. And the witch trio is stuck here being happy brainwashed, which isn't really working. This is actually super dystopian. Darkar frees the witches from their torturous existence in paradise. This part is where it gets weird. Only Bloom, Stella, and Layla, along with their boy counterparts, are going to the dark underrealm to save the pixies. Only because everyone else sucks so bad and is so weak that they said you'll die if you go there, so you can't go. I'm certain this is just to whittle away the supporting cast to focus on the new character. I hope you weren't a fan of Flora or Musa. I mean, nobody's a fan of Techna, so that's not a big deal. Unsurprisingly, Stella is pretty useless. So her and Brandon get separated from the party. And there's insect-like cave people. Weird, but it does make the world feel alive. Actually, I have no basis on whether or not they're insectoid, given that all the characters in this world have massive bug eyes. I just assumed with their weird hands. And then Brandon is forced to marry the queen of the under people. People just don't understand that being irresistibly attractive is actually really difficult. Everyone looks at you all the time. You have to constantly turn away free gifts. Always hurting people's feelings when they ask you out. Oh, it's so terrible.
I never thought I'd wish I was ugly.
These aren't rocks down here. They're petrified monster droppings.
Sky, you didn't need to pick one up in order to prove your point. I'm not going to stop thinking about his poop hand now. Battle against the witches isn't going good, but don't worry, because we have the power of Jesus. All we must do is repent and our magical anime powers will return to us. We really do have the power of God and anime on our side. So this guy is apparently a paladin? Not an angel, and he just dips after helping them out, and they rescue the pixies.
You should know that we measured his arms, and the left one is 1 millimeter longer.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I'll take care of it right now. A little stretching should do the trick.
I don't even know what kink that is. This one dude wants to marry the princess, so this pixie gives him a flower that's supposed to have whoever smells it seek out their true love, which is hopefully him and not Brandon. They sneak the flower in her bouquet and suddenly, who cares about Brandon? He's so 3 seconds ago. But that one twink with the rat tail, now he's looking scrumptious, yum yum, happily wrapping up this B-plot that no one cares about. Turns out there's another civilization that fell into ruin that also had their own special fire magic power called the Shadow Fire. And that's the power that Darkar has, and so that's the yin to Bloom's yang.
The Shadow Fire seeks only one thing, and that is total control of the universe.
Is that all we can think of? Last season was universe control, and now the new villain also wants universe control. A rival must have taken notes from Winx because weird obelisks arrive all around the world, and that paladin is a new teacher at the school.
Why do my toes feel kind of tingly? Flora wants to know why your toes feel kind of tingly.
For the same reason yours and mine do.
Are you guys talking about your toes or something else down there? Don't worry about the obelisk. He's just so cool and powerful and handsome and cool and powerful and sexy and handsome. And did you think it was weird that every girl except Flora had a boy toy? Well, the writers did too, and so they gave her a soft boy.
Got you a deal? Let me see your work. Wow! You're perfect to do my royal portrait.
This just goes to show you that you don't need to be good at art to get a girl, just so long as you're hot. That'll be $5,000, please.
What's up?
I'm to pass this alert to you immediately.
Oh no! He's telling him that the Codex the witches want to steal isn't there anymore, thus the empty hand alert. Our hands are empty. It's such an obvious message that anybody could understand.
That hidden self holds the key to unlocking your power.
How do we get to know this hidden self?
That is something I can teach you to find. but you must first give me your complete trust.
Okay, now this Avalon guy is giving pedo vibes. No, you can trust me, an adult man in a position of power around teenagers. The twink became a twunk. Well, I'm fine with either. He doesn't have toes. That's proof. Everyone knows pedophiles don't have toes. And as you can clearly see... Oh, sorry. I forgot this is a children's program. I guess they were just trying to get around the censorship. To pad out the season, the Codex thereafter is split into multiple parts. No easier way to drag out a plot than making several MacGuffins.
Boy, do I love smashing Pixie.
I think Avalon likes smashing pixies too, if you know what I mean. Ka-chow.
I think your computer needs a new heatsink.
This version isn't compatible with my new OS.
Either the writers don't know what a heatsink or OS is, or maybe this is the equivalent of her saying that she can't go out with him because she needs to wash her hair. So here's the thing that's driving me crazy. Darkar wants to know where the home of the pixies are, and he wants the Codex, because it holds the secret to the greatest power in the universe, which we don't know what that is. I thought it was the Dragonfire, but apparently not. One, this is painfully vague. Like, how am I supposed to talk about this when it seems like they don't even know what they're talking about? They do a simulated training arc to learn convergence, which allows them to use all their powers together. It doesn't look very flashy. I blame early 2000s cartoons for my unreasonably high expectations for what clubs look like. And then they were roommates. I hate the pixies. They contribute nothing to the story. They're just supposed to be small and cute and make visual gags that aren't usually that funny. They're just there. They're supposed to be the center point of this plot, but we aren't utilizing them for really anything. The witches got another piece of the Codex from the witch school. Then Darkar manages to brainwash Bloom into becoming a dominatrix. I am surprised there's not more fan art of this. Keep this away from Twitter. Oh, and she gives Althea's part of the Codex to Darkar. Avalon the Pedolodon makes Bloom better. Speaking of which, oh gosh, he accidentally got hit by a poisonous plant. A plant where the only antidote is in Pixie Village, the place they're not supposed to go to because Darkar would track them. And there she goes. The last piece of the Codex is acquired. Then Bloomix gets the Charmix, another random power that'll make her stronger somehow.
I cannot do it. Not yet.
We still have 5 more episodes in this season. We have to pad this out for a few more episodes. Some weird guy is trapped by Lord Darkar. Never seen him until literally right now. He manages to break free. Gasp, it's Avalon. So the Avalon that tricked them is actually a clone or something? It all makes sense now. Everyone knows doppelgangers are creeps. During some one-on-one tutoring, Fakealon siphons Bloom's powers and kidnaps her. Dominatrix Bloom is back.
You wouldn't leave without your main witches, would you?
I only have one main witch now.
This dude got the head cheerleader and immediately threw away his side pieces. The Codex opens the portal to Relix, with the ultimate power, which has still yet to be explained. The witches learned how to fusion and decides to get revenge on their sugar daddy by teaming up with the Winx Club. How did they learn to fusion? It's not explained. Do they ever use fusion again? No, they don't. Behold the quote-unquote ultimate power. It's a thing.
Give me the power now, Blue!
Try to listen to my voice. Your boyfriend.
Huh?
I love you.
Sky uses his boyfriend powers to talk sense into Bloom and reverse Darkar's Dommy Mommy curse. I'm gonna be real. Season 2, low-key, sucks. Convergence wasn't really important. We had the Codex MacGuffins padding out the show, and then the Charmix MacGuffins to pad it out even more, and the climactic finish was the most overused trope in the book. The pep talk, listen to my voice trope. And then they just beat up Darkar. The witches' fusion didn't do anything. They're nowhere to be found. That's Season 2. They win. Pixies are still here. Sadly. Okay, I guess Convergence did make a comeback for the finale to defeat Darkar, but whatever. It was still lame. I'm moving on to Season 3.
I love you too.
We
We kind of had a fight, and I hate to leave it like that.
You guys just said you love each other. Last season was the end of the school year. This is the beginning of summer. It's had to have been a week at most. Solaria is having a princess ball, and now we get to see Stella's broken home and bickering parents. I wonder if they're going to be yelling in the other room while Stella hears bits and pieces of their conversation while she softly cries in the other room. Just like what I did. This show doesn't care. Space sci-fi adventure? Why not? Oh, we're supposed to be a magical fairy show? Yeah, we're that too. It feels really weird, but it's also what makes this show so unique. Anyway, the witches are sent to Hoth to find warmth in a tauntaun.
And the royal court is them together, Mom and Dad. I bet you they're getting back together.
I would be the opposite of excited if my parents got back together. I'd be excited if they finally got a divorce. This may be just me, but I feel like the writers don't understand how the kids really feel in this situation. But that could just be because I'm older and my parents stayed together for the kids, which is a bit of a different situation. The witches aren't really the bullies anymore, so we're introducing this Lolita goth girl to be the new bully. Not only do we get goth chicks, but sexy Victorian vampires. Oh, I'm thinking this season is going to be really good. Make fan art of this guy.
Sky, I thought you went back to Heraklion. I'm sorry that we fought before.
Me too.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be the whole plot point. Never mind. Why would they introduce that if nothing was going to come of it? Cyrene, the mermaid, tells Layla that her realm is in trouble. Oh, wait, Layla is like part mermaid, what? How does this make sense? How are you gonna hold your breath through the ocean? Valtor, the sexy vampire and the husband of my dreams, is conquering the mermaid people.
Everywhere my mark spreads will come under my control. I'll become the greatest wizard of all time.
You're a wizard? I mean, that's still good, but man, I wanted sexy vampire Hubba Bubba Max. Chimera is the daughter of a countess. Oh, and the countess is going to marry the king, so Stella and Chimera will be stepsisters. At least they don't pronounce it Chimera like some places do. Just for the kicks, they turn Stella into a gross sea monster, and the countess is clearly mind controlling the king and tells him, that's not your daughter, put her in a dungeon. So now they gotta escape with Stella. This is super sweet. They go to find a magic lake that will reverse the curse, and in order to reverse it, Stella needs to see herself for who she is. So all her friends tell her what they love most about her, how good of a friend she is to them, beyond how she's pretty, and now she has a perspective of herself beyond something superficial. It's that level of self-love that allows her to turn back to her old self. And that's such a sweet lesson. Oh, she gets to keep the dress, oh thank goodness.
And it will require you to do this by making a great sacrifice. This is the only way you can earn your Enchantix.
We have another vague power-up for this season. Really? These writers really can't think of anything else. We get to meet Layla's parents as they attempt to help them fight Valtor.
Darkness, descend upon you and take away your sight.
I can't see anything.
Instead of healing herself with Twilight power, she heals the ailing mermaid queen instead, but that's how she gets her Enchantix. So it's okay. She's still blind though. At least the power up she gets is a new outfit, so it feels like it's so much better. A problem that isn't solved immediately in the next episode? Oh my gosh, the writing's getting better. The bar isn't on the ground anymore. Instead, they resolve the problem immediately in the next episode after the problem occurs. Apparently, Layla can just cure herself. The bar is on the ground again. So Valtor was allied with those witches that froze Bloom's homeworld sparks. The witches who had just a smidge of the dragon fire, mixed it with darkness, and created Valtor, which is why he's so super strong and says he has a history with Bloom. Bloom's parents are the one who originally defeated Valtor. Well, her birth parents. They keep alluding to maybe Bloom finding her birth parents, but nothing has come of it so far. And now Layla is in an arranged marriage to a guy named Naboo.
Hey, look who's with the fairies!
I don't believe it. It's that trans magic loser, Murta.
Wait, magic can be trans too?
We Club.
What I appreciate about how they set up this show is that they know Bloom is the main character and the story needs to focus largely on her, but they also commit moments to every other character. Slowly, we see them dedicate roughly 3 or 4 episodes that's just for fleshing out someone. Everyone gets a moment in the limelight because they know the importance of making sure the cast feels fully fleshed out. Though it's slow, they still do a good job at it. Layla's world is going to be destroyed because a big Omega Gate is collapsing. Techna decides to go inside the portal and shut it down from within. Problem is that she's stuck in there forever. Oh well, that's one way to get rid of a boring character. What a shame, she won't be missed. Time for Bloom to go see some dragons so she can be stronger. They must have realized that the Pixies weren't very appealing, so now we have a cute dragon guy. What happened to Bloom's bunny? Are we just replacing him, or trying to? Her training is her screaming and learning to be tougher, quote unquote, like a dragon. So now she's stronger because she's more confident?
Looks like somebody's trying to get through to us, you guys. I think it's Techna.
Aw, man, I was hoping she was iced. Oh, never mind, we're using mysticism and possibly harmful stereotypes to make Bloom stronger. They really just BS her training arc here. They aren't trying to tap into actual historical spiritualism. It's just, find inner peace and have no fear and then you'll be stronger. At least she gets some jewelry, which doesn't really do anything and they forget about immediately after this episode. Altogether, this is pretty nice because Bloom just gets angry and she's super determined. We haven't really seen her get properly angry, and so she unlocks her Enchantix by deciding not to be a pushover. Aw man, I was hoping her Enchantix form was more dragon-like. Also, they rescue Techna. Remember that Stella's dad is mind-controlled and is being married to the Countess? Well, it's time to crash the wedding. Enchantix powers fixes the king and yeah, that finishes up that subplot. Not very engaging. Turns out there's an opposite force to the dragon fire, and it's, water power. I thought shadow fire was the opposite yin-yang thing. Okay, whatever. So the idea is since Valtor has some of the dragon fire power, they should get the water star in order to have an advantage to Valtor. So they talk to basically gods, and I mean that literally. These people have existed since the beginning of the universe, and ask them for the water star. And they say, yeah, cool, just go through this labyrinth we made, and if you get out, then you can have them. Because I guess they don't really care about stopping a wizard that wants to rule the universe. This seems a little unnecessary. And now there's this guy named Naboo that's just here, I guess. He just inserted himself in the story. He's Layla's arranged fiance. They get the water stars.
Valtor?
If you destroy me, Bloom, you'll also destroy your parents. They are inside of me.
Phrasing, my dude. In order to get the answers, Bloom has a seance with the spirits of the 3 evil witches that attacked Bloom's parents, and they said Valtor's lying and her parents are alive. Valtor has a hissy fit and turns into a demon. Depending on who you are, this could be a great premise for a smut novel. Then he sends natural disasters to each of the schools. I don't think he has a plan. I think he's just tired of losing. He just takes the water stars. All the effort was pointless. All that time was wasted. This feels like a joke. So Bloom casts a spell to unleash all that magic juice that Valtor was collecting. It's like that one time when someone destroyed that one guy's magic collection. Valtor sucks so much that even the witches ditch him. Valtor sucks so bad that the ancestral witches say, hey, let's just make him go insane. And so he goes full demon mode. So how do they defeat him? Bloom kind of does an avatar and takes away that little bit of dragon fire that Valtor had. I didn't think they could make a villain so bad that it was worse than Darkar. They made him so bad that even they had to admit he sucked. And when is Bloom going to find her birth parents? They had such a hot villain and they turned him into a loser. I'll never forgive this.
A new year has started at Althea. The first year without us, Bloom.
This feels different somehow. They move like they're in a low-budget computer game, with small bits of the regular animations style. I mean, I get they need to cut corners, but you can do flash animation without making it look cheap.
I hope you can forgive me for not being there. See, since I've become king of Heraklion.
They just love jumping ahead of time and changing things and catching everyone up. It feels like I missed some episodes, but I know I didn't. Time to find Bloom's parents, Daphne, who is apparently Bloom's sister. Don't know how I missed that detail. And she says, hey, there's a way to get our parents back. Big frightening adventure happens, and we get to see Sky's embarrassingly minuscule butt cheeks. Evil villain that's ultimately defeated in this movie and never seen again. New cool sword for Sky. Sword and magic fire stops evil witches and ancient evil witches. Good job.
Hey, so what's new with you?
Seriously? That's what you say after you beat the bad guy?
How were you able to draw my father's sword?
Only the king can touch the sword, and I am the king.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
Sweet Bloom, I tried to tell you many times, but I just couldn't find the right moment to do it.
Any time would have been appropriate. You had several opportunities. By defeating the ancient witches and prophecy powers, that was kind of shoehorned in. The Kingdom of Sparks is saved, mostly kind of really by Sky and not really by Bloom, which is kind of lame. Bloom gets her parents back, everything is okay again, there you go. Prophecy BS, that was the movie. I'll make sure to not forget the movies in the next video. The new villains are the lead singers of your favorite defunct metal band. Dang, I want that redhead's outfit. Jokes aside, they really knocked this out of the park for me. I like their costumes. These are the Hunters of the Black Circle, and they actually talk about how magic used to be a part of Earth before these jerkwads. They wanted to rule the world by controlling the natural forces of the world. They literally hunted fairies to steal their magic. Now, that's a good villain. Maybe the animation took a hit, but I'm holding out hope that the writing got a major buff. Now their goal is to find the last Earth fairy, that being fairies that weren't born in Althea or any other realm before the metalheads find her.
Sky, I'm so happy to see you.
You're so beautiful, my—
What? They replaced Dan Green? What happened to my sexy Yugi voice man? The Pixies weren't selling toys, so they decided to make even more cute small creatures. Oh my goodness, how many of these things are we going to get? This has to be a nightmare for the writers and the animators. They decided to open a pet shop and focus on the Winx Club having fun and living life a little. The previous season was very much straight to business, and even though I agree that they should start with more of a slice of life approach to the story before getting into the larger scale story, this just feels a little slow, groggy, sluggish. I don't care about these animals, and this is also just a plug for the actual website, so it feels a little shallow.
At least now we'll look like we belong on the planet. Well, I don't know, it's just—
Guys, you are wearing normal clothes right now. You have casual clothes on you. The major plot is boyfriend troubles and miscommunication problems. Like, oh no, they're hanging out with the other guys. That must mean they're cheating on me. There's absolutely no other explanation. This lasts several episodes. There's this one girl that's adopting way too many fairy pets from their website, even though it's limited to one per customer, and they confront her only to realize Roxy is the Earth fairy they've been looking for. Looks like she's the Fluttershy of the group. Then the boyfriend Polycule hold hands and then try to kidnap Roxy. Thankfully, there's a good boy. We get another transformation? I don't know why. It's like they get a new one every season. I like these better than Enchantix, that's for sure. And these transformation sequences are way better. She hides in the sewer and she starts getting main character visions. We haven't even found Bloom's parents, and we're already getting a second main character. Roxy gets visions of a barn, and then finds some special hula hoop and uses it to summon her poorly rendered CGI flying creatures. The white circle is apparently an artifact that allows her to utilize her animal powers. An evil voice called Nebula lives inside the white circle and then mind controls Roxy. I'm glad the witches aren't here so that the main villain can actually do something instead of just send their minions to do it, but they have the problem of being regularly outmatched and just running away. If these guys absorbed all the magic of Earth, they sure don't act like it. Their smaller goal is actually how to make people of Earth believe in magic again, so there really isn't much restriction in how much their magic they can show off.
I did it!
It's a miracle, because you could have sung a lot better.
Why are you acting like this? Aren't you happy for me?
Hey, Musa, there's no such thing as a bad boy. He's just an ass. He's been like this from day one.
Layla, will you marry me?
Oh, of course I'll marry you.
You've been dating for like a few months. This is a massive mistake, Layla. About halfway through the season, the Wizards of the Black Circle finally managed to kidnap Roxy. I didn't think I'd actually want someone to get kidnapped, but this plot needs something juicy. The Van Helsing wannabe hurts the good boy, and so Roxy learns to go fairy mode and saves herself the next episode. Understandably, the idea of being a fairy doesn't sound too good to Roxy after being kidnapped and her good boy getting hurt, even though we'd like to think being a magical fairy would be awesome. Once you factor in all the danger, I can't blame Roxy. And I think Roxy is the best character they've made so far, if only because her dilemma feels real and unique unto herself. She's going through exactly what Bloom went through, but in a much more realistic and believable way. Bloom really just said, I'm a fairy, sweet, let's go. Roxy likes her life. All this sudden change is actually pretty traumatizing. The metalheads divided and conquered. The Winx Club is defeated, and now it's up to Roxy to finally choose her fate. It's not much of a choice given that the metalheads want to destroy the city, so she decides to put on the white circle, stop crying, okay, we can cry a little bit, and fight back. Listening to what I assume is her mom's voice.
The Earth believes in the fairies' magic again, and this is our strength.
Time to actually do some research into this white circle artifact.
But this circle will be the last hope for our fairies to escape from the human world and go back to our realm, the Isle of Tir Nan Og.
Oh, shucks. Irish mythology? That's what I'm talking about. Also, ma'am, you may want to spread out those fingers. That looks dangerously close to something else. With shockingly little trouble, they not only find the island of Tir Nan Og, but also free the fairies trapped there using the white circle. This is Morgana, another figure of Irish mythology. I should have guessed that. Also, remember that voice in the white circle that brainwashed Roxy? Yeah, she's right there. But it's okay, they're cool now.
From this day forward, the realm of vengeance begins. Vengeance against the wizards of the Black Circle. Our fury will not spare the Earth people who betrayed us. By no longer believing in magic, they weakened us.
No, this is wrong.
Bloom, I can't disagree with you more. What alternative do you have for this? Financial compensation for fairies? There isn't a fairy court, unless you're reading ACOTAR.
Humans know nothing about magic.
Is it innocent people who devastate nature and offend the Earth it lives on?
You mean regular people? Oh, I thought we were just talking about the metalheads. Never mind, I'm on Bloom's side.
Your believing's powers are ineffective against a major fairy.
What?
You will have to go beyond the believing.
Seriously, the power structure in the show makes no sense. Some ethereal fairies come and just give them their powers. How many different species of fairies are there? They really just make things up as they go along with the power. This makes less sense than Dragon Ball power scaling. At least we aren't going to waste time with another random power hunt like last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. What are the metalheads doing? Don't care now. They've been sidelined to focus on the new warrior fairy threat. I heard metal's heads were polite enough to know when to take a back seat. The metalheads lost all their powers and surrendered to the Winx in hopes that they can get protection from Morgana. If it were me, I'd give them to Morgana and tell them to eat it. Here you go, you can have our dark, edgy, and cooler dark circle, as dark as my soul and as black as my metal. They dump the dude bros onto the Italian fairy because they don't want to have to deal with them. I mean, have you listened to black metal? You can only handle so much of it in one sitting. They basically have a duel, Bloom against Nebula, and whoever wins gets to decide the fate of the humans. Bloom wins, and so Morgana steps down. Again, anticlimactic, but she still wants the wizards of the Black Circle.
When Morgana touches the ring, it will destroy all the fairies.
We've got to warn the girl.
You're too late. Morgana puts on the Black Circle and the terrestrial fairies start getting sucked into the infinite void of the abyss. Their goal is the genocide of all fairies, just because they're sore losers. Naboo decides to actually be pretty cool, using his super cool and apparently powerful staff to suck away all the power of the void into himself, and then he dies. I'm sure this'll be permanent. Oh, wait, shit, it's actually permanent? He's actually dead? Nebula says screw you to Morgana and starts forming her own team. Layla, upset that her hubby was killed, decides to join Nebula in eradicating the wizards of the Dark Circle. Politics? In my Winx Club? Nebula usurps the throne and Morgana is trapped in a mirror. Nebula is still super into the idea of destroying all the humans.
After me, the throne belongs to the princess of Tir Nan Og. You can rescue me me, Roxy. You are my mother?
Oh, this is a surprise? Whoa, her mother? Gosh. Morgana tells all her subjects that she's stepping down as queen and giving the throne to Roxy, and for some reason that makes them switch sides again? What? That's a terrible reason. Metalheads ain't gonna be headbanging anymore. Nebula feels bad. Bloom says, hey, don't worry about it, and they go back home. This was weird. Lots of good ideas in this season, but they really flip-flopped around. Like, no one can just pick a motive and stick with it. Jeez. Season 4 is definitely a breath of fresh air as they tried out a bunch of different ideas. Even if the story was all over the place and nobody could make up their mind on what they wanted to do, they tried to instill politics into a show that really can't do politics. The fairies release their magic into the world to make it a better place. Happy ending, I guess? They really don't land on the endings of this show. Like, yowza. Oh, Nebula is queen now. Okay, that seems like a bad idea, but okay then. People don't just reform at the snap of fingers. Oh my gosh. I got a haircut. I think Eclairs said it best, how I look like a literal motel. I'm cheap and people only sleep with me when they don't have a better option. Bloom found her parents in Secret of the Lost Kingdom. The witch trio is back! Am I watching an unfinished version of this movie? The awkward silence and lack of background music is killing me.
Wake up, sleepyhead. You can't spend all day doing...
Why would you recast the voice actors? Bloom is having trouble being a princess. From tank tops and bell-bottoms to dresses and delicatessen. It must be a difficult transition. Time to appeal to horse girls.
Oh, stop. She has a name. Peg.
I see. So you named your horse after your favorite activity with Sky.
Living together. Forever. Bloom, will you marry me?
Oh, Sky!
This is literally just like her parents' backyard. This is how you propose? Not even a ring? Sky started off so great, and now it's the small things that make me feel like he's not so great anymore. The ancestral witches aren't dead somehow, and now they're weak and need their magic back.
But what about Sky? Isn't he perfect?
Well, I guess he is a king, but that hair of his is so long and blonde.
What's wrong with having long blonde hair? I don't have long hair anymore. I wrote this joke before I got my hair cut. What's wrong with having long blonde hair, huh? Asking for a friend. Turns out they can't marry because of some old family history that still needs to be resolved. The Trix finds the village of pixies, and all they gotta do is a little chant, and all the good vibes are dead, and the ancestral witches gain power, and the fairies lose all their power.
Oh, Nabu, it seems like a lifetime since we've been together.
Wow. I didn't know the dead could make guest appearances. This is stupid. When the witches wanted to destroy Sparks, the witches said, hey, we're so cool and powerful and awesome that if you let us destroy Sparks and don't intervene, we won't destroy you. And he agreed because the witches were scary and he's just super guilty. And now his kingdom is filled with haunted spirits, and also there's a sapling of the Tree of Life in that destroyed kingdom. For some reason, destroying the sapling releases all the positive magic, which, if that's the case, wouldn't the Tree of Life dying do the same thing? I feel this is inconsistent. Peg became more marketable. The ancestors possessed the Trix. If they could have done this the whole time, why didn't they just do it in the first place? Winx Believix powers saves the day, and the witches are finally dead, possibly, perhaps. Sky's dad dies. He got better, though. They didn't even get married in the end. I wanted a wedding. Something big happened in the last movie. Why didn't anything big happen in the end of this movie? Another magic plant? Jeez, okay. So this thing is gonna bloom, no relation to the main character, and when it does, it has power, and don't let it fall into the hands of evil, and also plant it. I see they fully committed to Flash animation. A lot of heart has been stripped from the show now. Did they hire indie animators from Newgrounds to do the show? Wow, the mega bitch has a little sister and apparently has the super special Lilo plant of ultimate random unexplained power. Man, don't you guys just love super powerful unexplained powers? That's the biggest appeal of this show. Explaining powers, ugh. An actual magic system? Ew, gross. Yay, the Lilo bloom, and it sure does, something. Is this actually important to the plot?
Make it pop, Aisha!
Oh, she's Aisha now. I guess this is the Nick dub now. Explains why the quality and animation went down.
Oh, Naboo, I miss you.
Naboo is dead again. Everything is back to normal. We're focusing on Aisha again. This time, BDSM mermaids that are upset with the royalty and Aisha's relatives. This is Tritannus, crazy psychopath son of the king and wants the throne and is super jealous of his brother. Sky loses some jewelry he was going to give Bloom. Yes, this will be important later. The Trix do what they do best. Become someone else's lackey. A magical oil spill, no I'm not kidding, turns Tritannus into a sea monster because plot convenience, which also gives him magic powers, which also allows him to escape prison.
But Tritannus is strong.
How are we going to stop him?
You must try to acquire Sirenix.
Again? Really? You know what? I'm just going to accept it at this point. You know, bring on the new outfits. Yo, big sis, where's the Sirenix power? Oh, you don't want that? That was cursed by them witches? You'll become a creepy apparition giving people nebulous dreams like me? Well, we need it anyway. Oh, okay, it's at the Magic Archive. Bet you thought it'd be easy, didn't you? Sky does a hero, falls, and now he has amnesia.
Oh, Sky!
Who are you?
Oh, Sky!
This isn't just any amnesia, it's advanced amnesia. Hey look, that pendant, I told you guys it'd be important later.
I think there's something you don't want to remember.
All they need is a book, not some quest where they learn something about themselves. Well, this is a departure from the norm. Hey guys, remember that curse Daphne talked about? Yeah, oh dang, Techna became a Metabot. Don't worry, she gets better.
Still trying to get Sky to remember? Sky, this is Princess Diaspro.
Wasn't she supposed to be in jail? She committed treason. I would think she'd be in there a lot longer than this.
Winx, if you fail in the quest for Sirenix, you will lose your powers forever.
Thank you! The writers got their heads out of their butts and added a risk? There's something at stake? Basic writing? Everything's looking up from here.
If I had known we'd be hiking, I wouldn't have worn heels. We always wear heels.
Ha ha ha! Fourth wall joke. I'm going to be hyper vigilant from this point on, and the moment I see anyone not wearing heels, I'm calling them out. They're actually fleshing out Techna. She's basically been trained not to show emotion, and she's desperately trying to convince others and herself that she does care a lot, and she just has trouble expressing her emotions. Can anyone else spell autistic coded? Not autistic, autistic coded. This is actually like a thing that's argued with in the community. Some people are okay with saying she's autistic coded, some people aren't. It's kind of up in the air. Regardless, Techna has low-key sucked this entire time, and I'm glad she's getting a little bit of spotlight, even if it's really small. We fend off the Trix with the power of gay! Just in time for Pride Month. Then they get a boon from some random old nature lady, which will maybe help fight off the nasty curse. They use their boon, open the book, and a weird voice tells them they need to complete a quest within a week or they'll lose all of their power. Time to hunt down MacGuffins. 1 gem down. Stuff is still happening with Tritannus. He's being evil, just not directly to the Winx. He's doing his own thing, except for captured Daphne. How do you capture an apparition? They pivoted Stella's character to not only be a fashionista, but also that she wants to be a fashion designer, which actually adds some depth to her character that was desperately needed. It's simple, but it goes a long way. The way they're doing the whole MacGuffin quest is actually way better than the previous endeavor. There's riddles they need to solve, which is a little overdone, but it requires them to use their head and do more than just follow orders. And each individual gem requires each of them to utilize their own special talent in order to get the gem, meaning all of them feel necessary for this quest. They feel like an actual team.
Triton aura.
Just try to keep up.
Right.
Right?
Leave Stella, Sitter.
Okay, Stella.
Wait, those aren't heels. I know she's under a reverse aging spell and it's inappropriate for a little girl to wear heels, but I'm saying this counts. I win! I win! Oh yeah, they got another gem. A little, whatever these are, finds Sky's pendant, gives it to Flora. The Trix capture Bloom's parents and turn them to ice. Don't worry, they get better. Final gem acquired. Flora gives Sky the pendant and amnesia is cured. Now Bloom has more jewelry.
Tell me how to acquire Sirenix!
My Sirenix powers are protected by the source of Sirenix in Lake Roccaluce.
Tritannus finds the source of Sirenix and just destroys it, getting that Sirenix juices and corrupting the oceans. Not only that, but he transfers Daphne's Sirenix into the Trix. The Sirenix powers turns them into 3D models. Wow, that's weird. Honestly, it doesn't look bad, but going from 2D to this is so jarring. I knew they were transitioning to 3D, but this is, I'm not sure this is the best way to do it. No wonder they switched to flash animation. They had to cut costs while they were prepared for the second half of the season. I guess we need to get used to this now. And we're back to flash animation in the next episode. What's the logic here? Why? Listen, I understand the appeal of switching in between two different mediums. Case in point, hi. But like, is 3D literally only saved for when Sirenix is active? Am I watching this out of order? Season 5 is when Nickelodeon, or their parent company Viacom, became co-owner of Rainbow, the original company that made Winx. So they have Nickelodeon animating the show now, along with Nickelodeon writers working on the script, which is probably why the show is better in certain areas, and also worse in others. They kind of lost that je ne sais quoi that made Winx Club so special, that of which we fell in love with originally. But that still doesn't explain why they split it into two different animation styles. It works in like Courage the Cowardly Dog because switching animation styles makes people uncomfortable. And that's a kid's like horror show, so it made sense. Here, they think it's supposed to be like, ooh, it's different and magical and different and cool and different. However, that doesn't make it magical, it just makes everyone uncomfortable. Aisha, the artist formerly known as Layla, is granted King Neptune's sword by her father. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't really focused on Aisha all that much this season. This is literally her homeworld and family. And the first time she gets to use it, it transforms her cousin back to normal and she gives the sword back to him. Really? We can't just let her keep it for a while? It's clearly in more capable hands with Aisha. Honestly, they should just have swords. All of them should just have swords.
Tritannus took the seal from the Pillar of Light. All the suns of all the worlds will go dark.
You got a magic tree that determines the fate of magic, a random ocean pillar that determines if the sun goes out. I'm starting to think you guys need to amp up your security around this stuff. If your governmental bodies refuse to protect literal world-ending totems, maybe the bad guy should win. Oh, I sound like those people that defend the Sith. Oh my gosh. Stella, being the fairy of the sun, uses her sun powers to fix the pillar of the sun, and then all of the suns are okay. We use the sun to save the sun.
But now it's time to get to work and stop Tritannus for good.
Radius. Stella deserves more appreciation than that.
I just can't do anything right, can I?
Oh hey, we actually get to see her parents fight. They're actually like bothering.
Sky is going to be king of Heraklion. Hanging around here is his duty.
I thought he already was. Oh, yeah, this is like a soft reboot, isn't it? Now that Nickelodeon is making the show. Hi there, I'm interrupting my own video because my partner told a really funny joke and I don't know how to incorporate it, so I'm just gonna tell you. You know how when you fall asleep on your girlfriend's chest? Call that memory foam. Okay, back to the video. We should work together to defeat Tritannus. I'm strong enough to defend myself. I'm big, tough, strong. We can do it ourselves. Wait, that's Flora? What? Her 3D Sirenix powers turns her skin a different color? I've been wondering who that was supposed to be. I thought that was Bloom for a while. Tritannus keeps going after these crystals and these pillars, so they thought, why not just destroy those crystals? And they do. So he overloads one of those special pillars. That makes all the robots on Techna's home planet go nutty after the Winx save...
Brother,
After the Winx save their butts, they're like, you know, maybe working together with those other kingdoms doesn't sound too bad.
My Sirenix box! You have earned your wish. I wish the people of Zenith feel connected to all the worlds of the magic dimension.
Listen, good wish. Don't get me wrong, but you could have also wished that Tritannus was disempowered and imprisoned, or like world peace or something. Icy has such a hard-on for Tritannus that Darcy and Stormy are being pushed aside, so they decide they're gonna work alone and try to take over the ocean on their own. So they steal the powers of this Loch Ness monster that used to be Daphne's friend. It's complicated, doesn't matter. Darcy and Stormy are now more powerful.
Maybe we're done with you. Tritannus and I are forever.
Then the Winx get a special rock. Nah, boo-hoo, forget him. Roy's our boy. At least there's actual chemistry between them. Special Rock gets rid of all that pollution. Tritannus needs to stay powered up. In previous seasons, they always had boy problems, and that's still present in this season, except it's a little better. Sometimes it's them just not talking, which is frustrating, but every other situation is them making rash decisions about things that are more than likely out of everyone's control. Okay, so it's barely better. It's still not great, but at least it's, no, I got nothing. Since Tritannus doesn't have enough power, he just steals Aisha's Sirenix power and everyone just stands and watches from the side. You could, I don't know, tackle Tritannus or something? Literally anything? Now he can sit on the super special throne and can control the infinite ocean. Then for seemingly no reason, he just goes crazy. Icy gets saved by her sisters. I guess all that talk meant nothing in the end. And Team Rocket is blasting off again. Bloom and Aisha's cousin, I forgot his name, managed to knock the trident out of Tritannus's hands and destroy it, finally freeing Daphne and Aisha. I guess that's all they need in order to win. Wow, and now there's no pollution to randomly monster form into. This ending is weird. I mean, I'm glad it doesn't take 5 episodes of nothing eventful happening for this ending, but this just feels too simple. If that's all they needed to do, why didn't they just try this sooner? The resolution is too simple. The pacing of this season was way better, and I would say this season was the best one so far. I guess Nickelodeon wanted to maintain the tradition of having lackluster endings, and they banished Tritannus, throwing him into the Gate of Oblivion. Or, well, he just swims inside. There you go, end of story. It definitely feels Nickelodeon. Then Bloom wishes to break the Sirenix curse. Now Daphne is all better. And, you know, like, corporeal. Am I happy with the direction that Nickelodeon is taking Winx Club? Yes and no. Yes, because there are a lot more fundamental aspects with the writing that wasn't present before that are now being fleshed out. The story feels more full, for now. It feels like Nickelodeon is bothering to write a second draft while Rainbow is just working with a first draft. However, I'm not happy because Nickelodeon adds a lot of Nickelodeonisms into their shows, which is now very present in Winx Club. The feeling of Winx Club is largely gone now, and that, you know, that's a little upsetting. I think this is actually pretty cool. Tritannus' defeat was anticlimactic, but the movie is actually focusing on the scheming of the Trix, bringing back the classic enemies and putting them back in center stage, re-establishing the importance of the Trix as they were supposed to be a big part of what makes Winx Club what it is. There's a lot of potential with the Trix that isn't explored.
Does being naturally brilliant mean being naturally late?
Ooh, that was so bad it sounded like an online fan dub.
A whole day just for Sky and me.
Those cell phones these days.
What? I'm sorry, what were the writers thinking here? Did she mistake Kiko for a cell phone? Not like, I don't know, a stuffed toy. Who thought this was funny? I spoke too soon. There's going to be a new villain and the Trix are going to be lackeys again. Wow. And to think I had my hopes up. Remember how I talked about Politia, that Loch Ness monster-looking thing that lasted all of half an episode? Apparently she's the big villain with next to no background other than she betrayed Daphne for some reason. Here she is. They should have foreshadowed her a lot more. And the throne isn't going to listen to anyone except Tritannus, and he's gone, so they want to figure out a different method to attain power. Wow, another random ancient artifact of immense power.
Sometimes I wonder why we even bothered to get out of bed.
I wonder why the writers refuse to make you into good characters again. The Trix kidnap Sky. I hate this so much. By tying up Sky to the throne, they can somehow bring back Tritannus. Like, did they switch spots? Not really. Sky is right there. Just roll with it. You're not getting an explanation. Screw us, I guess. In order to reach the infinite ocean and rescue Sky, they have to go through the Oblivion Gate, which is apparently just a massive dumb guilt trip because clearly the writers had no idea what the Oblivion dimension is supposed to be, so they're relying on a trope that we've already seen before. Oh, okay. Here's the Oblivion dimension. Oh, they're just in a cell. Okay, cool. I take back what I said. Then they casually leave the Oblivion dimension. Really? It was that easy? They don't explain how? They just leave? This movie is so half-baked. It'd be better if it was just cookie dough.
Bloom, don't worry about me. Go to Omnia, she's our only hope.
Palatia wants the Power Pearl to spread pollution to every ocean everywhere. Does she go monster mode with pollution too? Palatia's motivation is not well defined. Power Pearl acquired. Gasp. Betrayal. Power Pearl acquired. Again. Pollution powers, activate. Palatia accidentally frees Sky, so he gets to grabbing that fancy trident you got there, and he does a good, but he just remembered he can't breathe underwater. I thought Daphne was going to be part of this story. Wasn't it Daphne that had history with Palatia, and Daphne isn't cursed anymore? Why aren't they adding her in? They do convergence magic on the Power Pearl, and Palatia is like a dead, a pollution reversed. Sky is dead. He gets better though. That fucking sucked. That was a waste of everyone's time. Daphne looks a lot different when she isn't cursed. Holy cow, I would make a joke of how could she be blonde when neither of her parents aren't blonde? I'm blonde and neither of my parents are blonde too. We got them recessive genes. Daphne is a total wimp now that she's not cursed and lost all confidence in herself, but don't worry, we have the power of pep talk to restore her powers. That's how they kick off the season. Daphne is maybe possibly a main character. Is she replacing Roxy? What happened to Roxy? I know she's going to Althea. Are we really just throwing her character away? I guess animals and plants are a little too close together, but Aisha and Daphne would be too close together too, wouldn't it? You know what? They really don't do anything with Aisha. They almost do something with Aisha, but then they don't. Jeez. The Pixies make a return. I hope they actually have a plan with the Pixies this time. Put a pin in that. We gotta focus on this glam rock chick, Selina, who has a cool book called the Legendarium, and she has the power of summoning whatever myth she reads from the book, and she summons the trolls to attack Pixie Village, which actually looks like a village now. I thought Farragonda and Glazurla were like kind of friends now. I get that this is like a soft reboot, but also not a soft reboot in most cases, and it's confusing a little bit. But assuming their friendship is still kind of a thing, it's really weird how they let a school of evil just go unchecked. Hey, do you think we should be doing something about that school over there that kind of makes problems for literally everyone? I'm sorry, I can't hear you over me not caring.
You have proven your prowess, Selina, but you must put an end to this destruction now!
Oh, so you say that you're okay with doing evil stuff, but the moment someone does something evil, you tell them they can't?
The trolls! They're gone! And so are the Pixies! It's as if the Pixies no longer exist in the magic dimension!
Except special main character Pixies, they don't count. The Trix take over Cloud Tower. Are they finally going to be the major villain again? Please, maybe, possibly. Also, what happened to the dark Sirenix powers they had? Did they just turn it off? Oh, they just wanted to change into romantic vampire goths. I get it now. I'm okay with this change. Wow, they made them actually scary.
That would be me. I'll fight Sky.
Who is that guy? My cousin, Thorin. Dude, you have a cousin?
That's how I feel every time they add a random new detail to the show.
I managed to use my vocalization spells and I got it to speak.
Roxy, holy crap, we didn't forget about her. Just like a good Metroid game, they lose all their powers. I guess we were done with water stuff, so them having Sirenix seemed weird. Well, except for Bloom. Bloom gives everyone just a little smidgen of the dragon flame to all her friends so they don't lose their powers again. Dang, you know, I should have thought of that. That's a good idea. Oh, but Bloom is weaker now, isn't she? Their new power is called Bloomix? Oh, no, not something that's dragon related. We can't have a dragon transformation. It's not the dragon fire, it's the bloom fire, obviously. Even with everything being flash animated, it is animated well in this season, unlike the previous Windows XP looking animation. Do I prefer traditional animation methods? Of course I do, but I can't ignore that flash animation streamlines the process a lot and makes it easier for the animators. And they incorporate several different angles of the characters so it doesn't feel stiff. It's at this point where I can confidently say I don't mind the flash animation anymore. People often confuse style with animation, like you can have something that in an unsavory style, but the animation can still be done well, or you can have something that looks gorgeous but animated poorly.
Hi, what's up?
We've all been invited to the Golden Auditorium.
That right? Cool.
I'm just focused on my training right now.
Why do I even try anymore?
Did you guys get back together? Another thing retconned with a soft reboot. Actually, you know, this is good. We need to show kids that these kind of guys will just hurt you. Looks like we got a warlock patron thing going on for Selina. Diaspro decides to join the Trix. Bloom is starting to feel the repercussions of sharing her dragon flame, and guess who notices? It reminds me of Cloud getting a headache every time he is around Sephiroth. Ugh, Sephiroth! Ugh. The dragon flame! Turns out that Thorin guy is just so he can be Daphne's boy toy? Everyone needs to be in a relationship, apparently, and Sky tells Bloom that he's a total coward. The show is now a Monster of the Week setup where every episode some new legend of yore is resurrected by Selina to cause trouble. A bigger plot has yet to be elaborated on because the Trix just seem to be figuring things out as they go along. In Bloom's weakened state, they throw Bloom into the Vortex of Flame, some old magic lava pit that's supposedly supposed to test the power of the dragon flame. Guys, do something. You have a bad habit of just standing around and doing nothing. The test being fighting a random Hydra that's in the vortex, and she wins and gets her new transformation. Is that dragon scales? Finally! This is what I've been waiting for! Bloom finds a diary that holds secrets on how to seal away the Legendarium, and also apparently she used to know Selina before she was a fairy. Was that a wink? She was crushing on Bloom, wasn't she? And boys, bisexual, I'm calling it now. The Trix brainwash a bunch of psionic using telepaths. Roxy cures Griffin. The show seems to have found a good balance between advancing the story and letting the girls live a normal life and bond with each other. Every episode starts off with them doing something together, whether it's friendly or establishing some sort of drama between them that will more than likely be resolved in the same episode, and even though it's formulaic, it does flow better than in the previous seasons. They finally tracked down the owner of that diary, Eldora, the fairy godmother. Grandma here was teaching Selina to be a good fairy until they found the Legendarium, and when she started talking to Acheron, the wizard in the book, he just said, yo, I can give you power. And she said, oh, cool, sweet, I'm in. I'm evil now. And that's basically it. I wish I was kidding. That's everything. Pretty weak.
The Legendarium is a link between our world and the imaginary world.
And to lock the book, we will need an item that was once part of the Legendarium world.
Thankfully, Nebula, remember her, has wands from the Legendarium world. A girl with a massive wand collection? Jeez, I didn't realize Nebula was that lonely. Now they can go into the world of the Legendarium. Oh look, another 3D transformation that'll be used in a lackluster movie after we just got cool dragon scale costumes. Are we going to be splitting into 2D and 3D again? First, they gotta find MacGuffins. You know, we just love MacGuffins. One MacGuffin. Two MacGuffin. Now we got the key. But you can get the key to my heart by supporting me on Patreon. There's one major problem I noticed with how they set up the characters. All except two of them have a unique character hobby that defines them. Stella now has fashion designing, Musa and Techna is obvious, music and technology. However, Aisha and Bloom doesn't have that. Aisha is a water fairy, and I would think she'd be into swimming competitively or something. Bloom gets a little bit of a pass since she's supposed to be more of a blank slate for anyone to be able to feel like they relate to her. But Aisha is a sorely underutilized sexualized character. It's almost insulting to me. They're doing a better job at making the characters more rounded, but there's still work that needs to be done.
Mom, Dad, this is Timmy, my boyfriend.
Interesting choice of words.
Are you trying to say that Timmy isn't a boy?
Yusa, that was incredible. I mean it. I just wish I could be half as remarkable as you.
I feel like Riven is one of those hot and cold guys that plays mind games on their girlfriend. Musa gets her voice stolen. The only way to get it back is by trading away that key they just got, meaning they can't stop the Trix and Selina now.
Riven, we've certainly had our ups and downs. We're not meant to be together.
I guess I just have to figure out a way to be a hero to myself.
Oh, good. I was afraid they were going the route of ups and downs is just part of a relationship. Fighting all the time is normal. Having your feelings hurt regularly is normal when it's not. And then Riven decides to leave, to go discover himself or something. Be a lone wolf. Hey, remember how all the pixies disappeared? Well, Aisha finally decided to bother saving them, realizing they're trapped in the Legendarium world, and hunts down the magic tree they're trapped inside. But only because they need their power and help. You only get saved if they need something from you.
Everybody gets one.
They've been trapped for like a whole season. Then Selina steals a piece of Bloom's dragon flame, because apparently she can just do that. Yeah, if she can do that, then she is the most powerful villain they've faced.
I have something really big to tell you. Thorn and I are getting married.
It hasn't even been a semester. More importantly, Acheron now has the power to be released from the book, and the Trix had no idea of Selina's true intentions. He's got fangs! Vampire wizard, finally!
It's time for me to rule, and only me.
You promised me great power.
I did what I had to do.
You seriously didn't expect the demonic warlock with a deep grisly voice to lie to you? He might as well be waving a "I am evil and will double cross you" flag. The Trix are trapped inside the Legendarium and are now out of the way. Bloom's idea is to use Rumpelstiltskin's Infinity Box to trap Acheron in the Legendarium world. I'm shocked it was that easy. So much for ultimate power. And she trades Acheron to get the key back. The Trix are still stuck in the Legendarium world, and they trap Bloom in an energy-sapping prison. All the powers that the Trix has been stealing is returned by Selina, and that defeats the big Hydra they were fighting. Oh yeah, by the way, they were fighting a Hydra. And through the power of remembering Bloom has friends, she manages to overpower the Trix. I hate this. Seriously? She never got the piece of the dragon flame back from Acheron, so that's something that's not addressed. Shouldn't she be like super weak? This is how they resolve this? Another botched ending, tripping over every finish line? They finally lock the book shut with Acheron and the Trix inside, so the Trix are now just out of the show forever? Well, if they really hated them so much, I guess it's just better to have them out of the show rather than wasting their potential, and Selina gives the Legendarium back to Fairy Godmother. Daphne gets married, and that's the end of Season 6. It became formulaic, and there was many small squabbles that were quickly resolved and led to nothing. Acheron didn't deliver, but the show was still decently entertaining. There were some fun developments. It's hard for me to really explain how I feel. It was just as much good as it was bad. We're focusing on furry villains in this season. Are the Winx getting fursonas for their new transformation? One way or another, the furries end up invading our shows. I hope we finally get to see Roxy make a comeback. This new villain, Kelshara, seems to be a collector of rare and exotic animals?
I'll have an army of fairy animals at my command.
This is the Stone of Memories. It has the unique ability to send you back in time.
You guys got a room that lets you see back in time. You got a stone that lets you go back in time. Do the writers bother jotting down what they've already established, or do they just not care and just like making up new stuff? Because at this point, it's becoming a bad joke. Back to the past. Wait, I missed the part where they explained why they needed to go back in time. It is cool since we get to see how much more intertwined fairy animals were in everyday life in the past, and we even see Farragonda when she was still a student. Special book about fairy animals, and this chick with the bad haircut is the villain back from when she was a student too. Farragonda is actually not a great student, so she steals the super special book to help her pass her class. and she's roommates with Kalshara. Weird Animal Girl has the super special animal book. Book shows her where to get wild magic, and now she's juiced up with furry powers. Winx Club Wild Force. Then they beat a rock monster, which gives them butterfly powers, which gives them a new transformation. Yeah, none of this is really connecting with me either. We're just rolling with it right now.
So I'm going to use the magic left in the fairy animal hole to erase all our memories.
I feel like that's taking this a step too far.
Amongst the many, find the animal that has the first color of the magic universe.
In case you didn't understand that, Kalshara is looking for the progenitor animal that has ultimate furry powers to become the ultimate furry. So they just go back to the present and start asking all the animals, you guys can time travel, just go back to the past and see it for yourself. Then Kalshara's henchman/brother takes the time stone and goes back to the past. Nothing eventful happens except for Aisha making a new Muppet-looking friend, and then Flora, and then Musa, and then Stella, and then Techna, and finally Bloom. This takes up half the season. Turns out these animals specifically are the guardian animals of ultimate power, and now they get some new bracelets that allows them another new transformation. Wow, I'm so shocked. Behold, Timex. Timex? We couldn't afford a Rolex? Ugh, typical cheapskates. Wait. It's not 3D. What's going on? Now I'm more confused. They animated this like an actual jewelry commercial. Now they can go into mini worlds, which I'm guessing is like a pocket dimension because they don't specifically say that it's going back in time anymore. And if that's the case, then why is the transformation called Timex when time isn't really a factor anymore? I'm confused.
We're inside a water drop.
Oh, so they just shrink? Is that really it? The story is now one-off scenarios that don't amount to anything. I have to be frank, this is the worst season so far, and that's really saying something. I like how they're basing the entire season off of a general good message, like pollution bad, or in this case, save our forests. And they base the episodes off of actual natural events, like how there's only one type of banana now after the rest were wiped out, and that was the thing. But it still feels like the overall plot isn't progressing because it isn't. So it's like, why am I even watching this episode? Why am I watching most of this season if nothing is progressing? Can you imagine reading a book where the only actual plot is the beginning and the end? Even the villain doesn't know what they're doing. They just randomly scan animals they think hold the ultimate power. There's no clues, research, or anything of that nature. It's just trial and error every episode and the Winx reacting to what they're doing. The Winx have no agency. We've now made Winx so formulaic that there's nothing that makes it unique. It's like they're trying to make it appealing for little kids. Why is this on Nick when it's clearly made for Nick Jr.? And Roxy doesn't even do anything. She just tells them, hey, there's trouble, and then the main six deals with it. This is a massive middle finger to Roxy.
Huh? I'm Riven, queen of the furries.
Our queen! I didn't know we had a queen. Furries, salute! And she's dressed up for Pride, just in time for Pride Month.
That the animal with the ultimate power is closely related to the fairies' power.
We'll have to capture all their dear fairy animals.
It should be Kiko. It'd be so funny if it was Kiko. Apparently the ultimate power is a diamond, I guess? They transfer the ultimate power to Faragonda. Surprise, surprise, the Digimole was Kalshara, and now she has the diamond. Kalshara's brother steals the ultimate power from her because she's a massive jerk, and he decides to stop being a doormat for once. Then they break the diamond, and that raw power goes directly into the brother lackey. With it comes an animal army and the Trix. I thought last season oh, never mind, I don't care anymore. And they transform him into a dog. So they just channel the ultimate power through the dog and use it for themselves. Listen, I'm glad the Trix aren't gone, but this undermines Kalshara as a villain entirely. Just so you know, the Althea College has a heart, and that's the source of its power. The Trix start to destroy the heart of Althea in the mini world pocket dimension thing. They need to find a golden butterfly, which will apparently fix all their problems. So they go back into the past to find it. Are you confused? We are all confused. And then they find it. Althea is now okay. So the Trix piss off. Now a bunch of fairy animals are in the school and bonding with everyone. Oh man, who's going to be on poop duty? Or are we just going to shit ourselves and magic it away like Harry Potter? Kalshara forms an alliance with the Winx to get her brother back in exchange for the ultimate power. The Trix get another power. As bad as this season is, I have to admit, I like the Trix's new transformation. Gaijinka looking ass. As if I'm one to talk. The supposed guardians of the ultimate power actually bother to be helpful and summon a swan?
I am the Infinity Swan.
An uncomfortably sexy swan. Sexy Swan traps them, and the Winx use their time powers to banish them to limbo outside of time, where the Trix will somehow eventually escape without explanation, because that's just how this works, I guess. Sexy Swan gets the ultimate power. Kalshara gets Palpatined into limbo as well, and yeah, that's it. This sucks. Let's move on to... Oh, hold on. I almost forgot World of Winx. Yeah, for some reason, Netflix got the rights to a spin-off series where the Winx are now super spies? Ew! And they start with a cold open, middle of an operation, no explanation as to why this is a thing now. They just said, you know what would be cool? Throwing away everything we established and make them spies. Kids like spies now. Or they did.
No! We don't know if he's human or not.
When was that ever a problem? You guys were actively using magic in front of everyone to get them to believe in magic again. What changed?
A chef, an athlete, a designer, a techno genius, and an artist.
Oh, cool. They addressed my complaint with their characters on the show. Oh, wow. World of Winx exists outside of canon. They've been adding in the Winx becoming a band throughout the most recent seasons that I've been skipping because it wasn't relevant, but now I guess they decided to completely lean into it while also adding the spy angle just because they knew they needed action in this show, and the Winx are already a super popular band, and they're hunting down more talent for this TV show. But really, they're using the show to lure out this one guy that keeps stealing people's powers and talents and voices. Random portal opens, new and oddly sexy transformation sequence, and they're in a new magical world. They call it Dreamix, but I think the animators heard Wet Dreamix. Weird shadow creatures.
Let's see what we can do with our new powers.
You can push them. Wow. Apparently sand from the Sandman allows them to go to the dream world.
I was only trying to help. Girls.
They changed Flora's skin color again. Matt, why is it just Flora that this happens to?
Boring day.
Some girls were following me and
you ran away? Oh, I'll never understand kids today.
Winx, let's transform. What about our disguises? We can trust Naoki.
You can trust him to get hard.
What's this? The world's not ready for that. But are you ready for the world?
Of Winx!
Hi, can you give me a tour?
sorry, I'm really busy.
Ugh, you give a nice guy a bone and they think they can bone whoever they want. Turns out the shadow monsters can switch minds with people in the real world, specifically people who are quote-unquote pursuing their dream. I see what you did there. There's the dude trying to trap people in the dream world. They capture a shaman guy and he tells them the queen of the world of dreams wants all these people kidnapped.
Warriors! Go and get rid of the Winx once and for all.
They get one of those special watch thingies, but it's broken, and that one weird guy says he can help them. He tells them that he was actually trying to protect the people from getting sucked into the dream world. He's been doing his own investigating into this whole conundrum. They try to get their watch repaired, but Bloom ends up getting captured and taken to the world of dreams. So everyone else finds someone to repair the watch, and they can finally go to the world of dreams. The queen takes Bloom's fairy powers. The yellow jacket guy with the bad haircut frees Bloom, and I guess one hit and suddenly everyone is freed, or those spells were keeping them trapped. I'm not sure. Anyway, they're free and the talents the queen stole from them are returned. Winx saved the day. The queen escapes because we still have another season of this. Now Bad Haircut takes the throne and rules Dreamland.
Queen was ruthless, but we can thank Tinkerbell for one thing. She did make me younger, right, Smee?
Season 2 of this spin-off, now the spirit of the World of Dreams is asking them for help because Dreamland is in more danger. Captain Hook tells the Winx that Tinkerbell is actually the big bad queen because Peter Pan broke up with her and now she's super upset. Talk about entering your villain era. The Winx track down Wendy, the person Peter Pan broke up with Tinkerbell for, even though she's on Earth alone. The queen has a shadow that's got some of Bloom's essence.
Her darkest side.
Are we getting dominatrix Bloom again?
Vertigo!
Funny enough, I'm still into it. Clowncore is slept on. I love me a freaky one. What is this, cabaret kabuki?
I have no reason to come back. Please say bye to my son Matt Peter Barry. Peter Pan calls himself Peter Barry.
Bloom defeats her by accepting the darkness within her and that whole thing, going absolutely nowhere with this. All of them get their own evil counterparts that they have to learn a lesson and defeat for something. They track down Harry Styles, who is apparently Peter Pan's son. That actually explains a lot. And then some mysterious figure who I have no idea who it could be kidnaps him. Some pirates get him back and the Winx are finally able to introduce themselves.
Shh. You can say it. It's your lucky day.
One guy with 6 girls? Yeah, I'd say he's pretty lucky too.
I've got an idea. I'll find the most beautiful flower in the world to honor my love.
Okay. Bye. Harry Styles somehow gets to Dreamland and meets the evil Queen Tinkerbell, and they immediately fall in love with each other. And like the fuckboy he is, he decides he's just gotta find a flower that's just as pretty as her. And the queen falls for his perfect coiffed hair and sexy accent, just like the rest of the world. And then he dips. Harry Styles is a wuss, so they talk to Tiger Lily, and she says that he needs to find the fairy sword that Peter Pan took with him when he left Neverland. A fairy sword for a fairy. They find the fairy sword, and Harry Styles has some psychic connection that allows him to use the Force, and Techna beats up her evil counterpart with him by swinging and missing several times. Somehow this whole time, Peter Pan's son didn't know the evil queen was the person he had the hots for, and vice versa. Oh no, our 2 seconds of pining established that we're madly in love with each other and now our hearts are going to be broken. So he decides to surrender his sword and ask her to just stop. And they can, go out and stuff. And she says, you know what, hot stuff? I think I'm down to clown.
You don't deserve to be our hero. I have freed us from this reign, so I'll proclaim myself new king of the world of dreams!
Captain Hook tells Harry that she's been a massive B-word, and so he changes his mind. Honestly, massive fumble. You could have had a goth baddie in your pocket, pretty boy. I thought we respected women's rights and women's wrongs. Wait! I changed my mind. I actually do want a goth baddie. So he saves her. Captain Hook gets angry and Harry Styles loses his fairy powers. But just like the Sigma male he is, the tears of a goth baddie fills him with power, allowing him to go full Jedi and force wills his twink sword back to him. Now the ultimate battle for the goth dommy mommy commences. Twink versus emo alt boy. Little does Hook know, no one can defeat the power of Harry Styles. In a shocking turn of events, the goth baddie goes cottagecore, completely ruining my investment in this story. I guess you can call them Tinkerbell and Twinkerbell, but then Captain Hook has a temper tantrum because incels can't handle losing. Smee decides that it looks really bad picking the side of the incel, so he switches sides and betrays Hook.
Then you'll go down along with all the others!
You want him to go down on all the others? Then Hook falls into the world of nightmares and they win. Honestly, even though there's a lot of aspects of World of Winx that's objectionably bad, like the talent game show that didn't serve a purpose whatsoever, this was still better than Season 7 and maybe even Season 6. A little weird, but all in all, it was a fun diversion that had a decent payoff. And the ending wasn't horribly rushed like the mainline series. Okay, now we're moving on to...
Wonderful. Oh, look! That was super bright.
Who are you people?
They made them look like off-brand American Girl dolls. What is this? What was wrong with how they looked before? Shooting stars are actually alive. Behold the new small cute creature of the season.
What's your name? Why are you here?
I can't remember.
Look how they mess with my boy.
They lost all their muscle. They haven't just been skipping leg day, they've been skipping everything day. This is Twinkly from Lumenia. She was sent to get the Winx because...
A star's going out.
So, where's our surprise? Riven?
What are you doing here?
You guys left off on good terms. Why are you so upset?
I can see that.
He looks different.
You all look different. This is Obscurum. He's sucking out all the starlight from the stars and is the bad guy.
Hardcore.
Valtor is back! Sexy wizard man gets a comeback! They're going to screw up his character again, aren't they? I'm realizing now I need to be even more afraid. Cosmix transformation! We're going 80s glam sci-fi! Not even that. Wow, this sucks. What are these costumes? It looks like normal clothes. Absolute garbage. So they suck up starlight and bring it to Valtor's new super cool cosmic castle in the stars, and they spit on him. Listen, I like someone spitting on me too, but this is a whole new level of weird.
Oh no! Pop quiz and potionology! We're super late for the quiz!
You guys graduated already. What are you talking about? So we just get a series of the bad guy sucking up all the star juice and the Winx letting them get away so they can convergence power the core back to life. Now there's a new character that watched so much Firefly and Cowboy Bebop that he decided to be a space pirate. They try to help out the space cowboy, but they can't. The core is too broken.
But I don't hear any plans. Just more lies. Your magic is useless. Just parlor tricks. I trusted you and you betrayed me.
They tried one thing, dude. He's such a drama queen. Valtor does a hawk moth and says, I can solve all your problems if you choose to be evil.
I was just upset, and I shouldn't have taken it out on you. I'll show it to you.
We're gonna track the Dragon Balls! Oh gosh, wow, it was a trap. Then Orion finds out that Valtor is, get this, a bad guy, and now he feels bad. So he says he's sorry and everything is okay now? What I think is cool is that they actually use Sirenix again. Like, it feels like every new transformation, they just lose the previous one, which I always felt was weird. Them showing that they can still use their old transformations is pretty comforting, and I wish they do a thing where they need to pick a specific transformation depending on which problem they have to tackle, like Ben 10 picking the appropriate alien. It's an opportunity that they're really missing out on. They did this annoying thing where they don't call anymore, they just text with weird emoji animations, you know, to relate to the kids. Winx has slowly drifted away from everything that made it unique and lovable to being formulaic and predictable. It's like they're afraid to add in anything beyond the lowest common denominator. They've made it so simple in order to appeal to everyone that it appeals to no one. There isn't any personality to it anymore. The general story is approached the same, so the basic bullet points are still there, but there's nothing that makes it Winx anymore. You can replace all the main characters with anyone else and it would still work, which is backwards. It should be the characters are the ones driving the show. The plot shouldn't be driving the show. The Winx get a special rock that will allow Orion to build artificial cores to save the stars. Also, apparently Obscurum is the brother of the Queen of Stars or something. His character sucks and no one cares about him. But they're trying to make him marginally more interesting. I mean, it's not working, but they're trying. Earth and Bloom's parents are going to die from giants. The rest of the Winx can't save the son of the Earth. And Valtor says that he'll stop all of it if Bloom gives him the Cosmix power, because only Valtor can stop this. So she gives up the power cosmic, Valtor disintegrates, and the power cosmic stays with Bloom, so literally nothing happens. That would have been really cool, but nope, we can't have anything complicated or interesting in this story. That would be too difficult to write. The Queen does a pep talk, and Obscurum feels bad for being bad and then changes back. Seriously? I know the writing has been going downhill, and we've seen this before, but we're only halfway through the season, and in order to stop the creatures eating the stars, you hug them. Oh my god. You know what? No. God had no hand in this. This is miserable. This is terrible. This is a new low.
But guys do that sometimes, don't they? They don't like to open up.
I don't know. Brandon and I always talk a lot.
Stella.
Okay, that's another thing. Stella's character is supposed to be self-centered. And now they've made her more of a ditz that is so ignorant that she accidentally comes off as self-centered. But as they keep going, they slowly write her less as a ditz and more of just a selfish bitch. Which I understand, they are straddling a very fine line here. Either she's a character that's dumb, that's so dumb she seems selfish by accident, but they end up kind of writing her where she's so selfish, she's ignorant of everyone's problems, which just makes her an awful person. They started doing good with Stella only to just veer off course and start ruining her character now. Suddenly the Trix are here. They just say that Valtor freed them from limbo. Would have been nice to see them doing that. Okay, we're switching gears. Now we're going after the wishing star that will grant someone's wish. Like the, level 20th wish spell in D20, super ultra powerful. They do show that he tried getting it himself, but he can't because he sucks. So at least they actually have a reason why he's delegating his problems to someone else, and he threatens that if they betray him, he'll send them back to limbo. I can't get over how up and down they are with the writing. One moment I compliment them, the next they give me a reason to hate it. The Trix were so close to capturing the wishing star, then the star blows itself into jewelry box looking things and scatters itself to the universe.
Hey, Sky! Ready for your next mission with the specialist?
Oh, wow, Brandon finally went through puberty. They gotta find 7 stars to get the wishing star back. 1, Trix gets number 2. 3, Trix gets 4. 5, Valtor gets 6.
Whoever completes this final haul will get the stars and keep them all.
Wow. How convenient. Icy gets backstory. Her home planet is a diamond planet. Witch came, ice monsters, froze the planet. Her sister was turned into a fox. Surprise, that wasn't Icy, it got me too. So she vowed to be a stronger witch so that she can fix her homeworld and save her sister. Seems like she's taken a lot of detours. Then her sister is better, and then she's not.
I'm still not strong enough to break the spell of the shaman witch. I didn't want to come here.
Icy saves her sister instead of getting the star, so the final star chooses Icy. The star gets rid of Valtor's curse. Sister is better now, then she's not. Also, Riven is mind controlled, but loves Musa so much he breaks it and now they're back together, but who cares?
On Diamond, I realize there is love in you.
Shut up, fairy!
Valtor goes Diablo mode. Icy gives the final star to Bloom, which means she magically gets all the stars, which really makes half the season feel pointless. Ultimate wishing star achieved. That's not the queen. She just looks exactly the same as the queen.
Our wish is to be able to protect the magic universe. We want to preserve it in harmony now and forever.
Valtor disintegrates again, 2 for 2. That's it. That's the end. Icy doesn't get her sister or her homeworld back. We just go straight to another concert. I'm so torn on Icy's character. I'm torn on her backstory so much. Like, sure, the Trix do need to be fleshed out more. That I think we can all agree on. But Icy should have had a villain origin story, because she's been selfish and evil for 7 seasons now. But no, she's actually tragic. It's a good backstory. It's just a bad backstory for Icy or any of the Trix. Once she gets her sister back, there's no reason for her to be evil anymore. They wrote something they can either never deliver on, or if they do deliver on it, it ruins the Trix. Like, did they not think this through? Winx Club has been going steeply downhill very fast, especially in these last 3 seasons. Not including the Netflix World of Winx thing. I mean, at least they abandoned the CGI thing. That was not a smart idea. It's fine for the movies, I guess. Not for the show. I'm gonna be covering season 9 in its own video, so subscribe if you haven't. Help me pay rent on Patreon, please. Do you think season 8 is as bad as everyone says it is? Because I do. I completely agree with the entire sentiment of the internet. What's your favorite season? I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay beautiful and keep playing.